Hello, I'm Ant Joblin and welcome to Pros and Cons, the show where we take you through the risks and opportunities behind the market's trending ideas. The question we're asking this week is whether it is a good time to position your portfolio for the release of a COVID-19 vaccine. Hopes of getting the US and global economies back to something that resembles normality rest on the idea that we might soon have an effective vaccine. So, how close are we to a vaccine? Drug giant Pfizer's CEO Albert Bourla recently said that it could have a viable vaccine ready for distribution by the end of 2020 if current trials of the inoculant go well. The company believes that it will know definitively if the vaccine it is developing in conjunction with Germany's BioNTech is successful after the conclusion of trials involving some 44,000 people. The president has suggested that Pfizer could be the first of the major groups developing a vaccine to win approval, with Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca and Moderna following later. However, the president's comments were somewhat at odds with those from the FDA, who have been less confident that a safe vaccine could be approved before the election. So, if a vaccine does arrive, which stocks might benefit? Obviously, drug companies that discover and manufacture a successful vaccine stand to do well. However, Trump has previously put huge pressure on pharma firms to lower prices, so it's unlikely that any company would be able to offer a vaccine at the eye-watering multiples that other drugs have been priced at in the US healthcare markets. Lower pricing should be offset by volume and demand, particularly if COVID vaccines become an annual feature similar to those for seasonal flu. Away from pharmaceuticals, the travel industry could be the most immediate beneficiary. Airlines and cruise companies have seen their markets decimated by the coronavirus, and a vaccine should boost public confidence and investors' sentiment towards these sectors. There is plenty of room for reappraisal among aerospace and airline companies, with stocks in this sector down by an average 32% year to date. Cruise lines Carnival Corp and Royal Caribbean have fallen by 72% and 54% respectively year to date in 2020. Other sectors that will benefit from a pickup in economic activity include metals and mining, which is down 22% as an S&P 500 sector in 2020. Also, the S&P 500 energy sector is down by almost 50% year to date and should prosper from the prospects of increased economic demand. Banks and financials could also benefit, as the Federal Reserve may be able to resume normal monetary policy and ultimately move interest rates away from the so-called zero bound. However, there are some large barriers to overcome first, not least of which is developing a viable vaccine which is safe to use and meets FDA regulations. Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci said that full data from clinical trials may not be available until November or even December, and public confidence in a vaccine will be paramount if it is to prove effective. There are also a number of logistical challenges to be met, ranging from production to the nationwide distribution and administering of it to 330 million Americans. Drug companies are confident that they can produce a working vaccine, and this optimism is reflected in Trackstar data, which shows a lot of Wall Street interest in small biopharma firms linked to vaccine production. However, with the election looming, there is always the temptation for politicians to write checks that they can't cash in attempts to gain an electoral advantage, which might drive interest. Investors and traders need to decide if they want to jump in now and buy hard-hit stocks in sectors that would be boosted by a vaccine, or wait until the timetable is clearer, by which stage a recovery may be underway. Of course, this is the opportunity cost that traders and investors have to wrestle with every day. That's all we have time for this week. Remember, make sure you do your own due diligence before making investment decisions.